Who we sitting down with today?
This is M.A.S.A.P. and I'm from Brooklyn, New York, with my man, United Divided. Let's get this started.
Right, and this is live from the basement. Alright, you said you was from Brooklyn. Can you tell me a little bit about what your upbringing was like and what it was like being in Brooklyn?
So basically it's not that much that goes into it. It's just one of those situations where it's like I had to live, I want to say, a couple different lifestyles just to keep a roof over my head, help my father out and everything like that, and basically just live. But at the same time, I was also young, so it's like I was still a little kid doing dumb shit.
Right. And was music present very early in your life?
Yeah, I actually started music at 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
So it didn't get serious until I hit maybe, I want to say 16 or 17. But that probably just goes way back to like me being more younger and everything, because I know my mom, big hip hop fan, my father is also a big hip hop fan, and they would always blast music in the car and everything. So it's like I caught on to that, and then got my own laptop at 10 for, I think it was for my birthday, and then I just started doing covers, cover videos and stuff for hip hop songs and everything. I ended up deleting those videos out of how do you say it? I was self-conscious about how I looked and everything like that, but in terms of the music making part, I didn't even start writing till I want to say 2017. And then that's when everything kind of got serious. That's when I started going over beats, looking at beats, trying to make beats, which I'm still learning how to make beats. And then I just basically done to the recording over beats and everything like that, and then it kind of just took off from there.
So how long would you say you've been doing music?
I want to say, let's see, a little over 10 years.
Jeez. And is music an escape for you?
Yes it is.
I noticed that you talk about at least from what I've heard, you talk a lot about fake love. You talk about relationships too. You pop your shit too. So is that a reflection of what's going on currently in your life?
Yes, it's how do I say it? I remember it was actually straight out of Compton. It was a scene in there where Cube says our music is a reflection of our reality. I kind of took that to heart, basically. So I'm basically just reflecting off of what I see, what I hear, and the stories that I hear and everything like that, on top of what's going on in my life also. So it's all in one, basically.
So how would you describe your sound for somebody that didn't hear your music before?
That's a good question. I want to say I'm big on old school. So it's when I first started, I did a lot of old school sounds, but knowing how far we are into the years and everything like that, it's kind of hard to try to connect these people with something that they don't usually listen to anymore.
Gotta mix it.
So I try to mash up the old school and the new school and try to create a new type of sound to it. But all in all, I think it's I always keep that bass though. I'm a big person on bass, so it's if I feel the bass, then it's nice and everything.
Right.
But in terms of sound, I guess it just depends on if the beat, it's one of those where it's you listen to a beat and it connects to you a certain way and everything. I don't have a specific sound for me. It's more off of what sounds good with the character that I'm trying to portray and everything like that, if that makes sense.
I get what you're saying.
But all in all, I do want to mix old school and new school and try to make a new new sound to it where you can listen to that new stuff and everything, but you can still hear, that old school type of sound to it.
Right. You just recently dropped a project, but before I get to that, I'm gonna get to the first project. Let's talk a little bit about the Trap Dream.
Trap Dream.
That's your first project, right?
My first project.
And
That goes way back.
And how did that come about?
So originally, that album was originally a song. It didn't get to be an album until I started, like, how do I say this? Making new definitions of the word trap dream, basically.
Right.
I ended up writing, as a matter of fact, the main song to the Trap Dream album is Trap Dream. It's in there. That was the first song that I ever recorded, like, officially in an actual studio booth. So I wrote that song in, I want to say 2018. And I ended up putting it out. But then after a while, I was just like, the title doesn't sound like a song. It sounds more like an album. So I'm just like, let me make this into an album and everything. But I want to keep that main song on there because, that's literally what the whole album, it's revolved around, that song, basically. So I ended up, just getting a bunch of beats together and everything. Started writing one by one by one. And then I remember before I released that album out, I ended up having another idea, and next thing you know, Trap Dream became Just a Dream. So I was just like, all right, I got two projects here that have to do with, like, having dreams and stuff like that. I don't want to say it's kind of repetitive, but, maybe it'll show two sides of it. So I ended up putting Trap Dream on the shelf for a little, and that was on the shelf for a couple years, actually. Wow. Because I didn't have, like, the right equipment for the studio to even record the music yet. When I got the idea for Just a Dream, I started writing, and then I knew that I was going to be able to record it soon enough. I just didn't have the studio stuff yet. Next thing you know, funds came in, I ended up getting a job and everything. Bought a mic, bought a laptop, bought a phone, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, let me just make my own music studio. Right. And then that's when I dropped Just a Dream. So when Just a Dream came out, I was gonna put the Trap Dream song in it, but then I was like, it doesn't make sense, especially with the way that I'm going with Just a Dream. I might as well just leave it at that and, go back to it. So at this point, Trap Dream is still on the shelf. So I'm just like, all right, man. And then Just a Dream came out, put it on my SoundCloud, and then next thing you know, I'm listening to another song that I have, and I ended up mentioning Just a Dream in it. So I'm just like, okay. It just kind of reminded me of, like, the Trap Dream part. And at this point, I had completely forgot about the Trap Dream album. So I'm just like moving on to the next thing. So I'm just like, when I heard that song, I was just like, oh my God. I went back on my notes and I'm just like, okay, let me get this out, because now I have a studio. Now I'm, let's get this out. Next thing you know, my laptop storage just wipes. It just blows up on me. The storage was too much. And at that point, I didn't have Fruity Loops or anything. I was just working off of this random software called NHC, and it was already giving me problems. So now, right when I'm about to start Trap Dream, everything just goes left on me. And then I'm thinking back to it, and I'm just like, for some reason this makes sense. I don't know why, but it makes sense. Then next thing you know,
for a reason.
I have all these songs recorded and everything, and I'm going back and forth to Harold's house quick, and we're recording our Cloudy Conversations and everything, which we're still working on, but we're gonna get those tracks out. We're halfway done. We still got a bunch of tracks more to go, but I'm trying to make sure that project is perfect.
Right.
So I'm going back and forth recording, remixes and Cloudy Conversations and everything like that. And on top of that, we're getting ready for, like, these shows that we're doing. And then again, Trap Dream gets put on the shelf. until I finally get the software that I need for my studio, and I ended up just like recording all of it. It took me like maybe a month or so to just make sure everything is perfect on Trap Dream, and then that came out, and then I had to take the. I know I distributed the Trap Dream song like way before. It was already on Apple Music and everything. Like from before, it had a different cover art and everything. And then I had to take that down, and I was just like, all right, bop, put it right there, make a whole album out of it, and just my first official album. And I'm over here like experimenting with like new sounds on that album and everything like that. So it's like when that album, when Trap Dream came out, I'm like going over Just a Dream and Trap Dream, the similarities and differences are crazy. I'm just like, all right. That's basically the whole like Trap Dream part of it.
So, which is a dope project. Y'all should go check it out. It's on all available streaming services. After that, you dropped Game Time Volume 1.
Game
So,
Time.
it's an EP, but can you tell us a little bit about it?
Okay, so Game Time Volume 1, 5-track EP. That is, I want to say that album reflects a situation in my life. So, won't go into detail, but it's a very relatable situation that everybody, all right, yeah, I know how you feel on that, I know how they feel on that. One of those personal situations that happened. It's just one of those where I couldn't let my anger out on anybody, but I can let it out in music. So that's exactly what I did. I just walked away from the situation for a little bit and basically just put everything that I had in my head into a track. And that track became 2 tracks, and then that became 3 tracks, and then I ended up doing 5 tracks on that, which actually ended up being nice because 3 of my kids love the second song for some reason. It's a nice song too, but yeah, that the basic theme for that is basically a fuck you album. Just put it that way and everything. It's just basically fuck you.
Right.
But yeah, I just put 5 different versions of me saying fuck you into a project.
So, with that being said, we go from Game Time Volume 1 to Game Time Volume 2. And it goes from 5 songs to 21 songs, which I will say, in my opinion, that's your best project to date. You feel me? I think that one, obviously,
Big leap.
yeah, it shows a growth in your artistry. It's like I said, it's a long project, but you also got a lot of dope features. A lot of the new hot guys, you feel me? You got them.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chosen, shout out to Ski, shout out to Puma, shout out to I don't know how to say his name, so Angel. I want to say
Angel.
dope engineer. Shout out to Quick, cause he's on there too. If I'm missing any names, let me know.
Yeah, you got Puma's on there, Angel, Harold, Ski, Chosen. That's pretty much it, I believe.
Well, it's definitely
It's
dope
also an
project.
album. I introduced my first character into that album too.
Speak
His
on
name's
it.
Rupert, and he's a
Right.
little asshole.
Right.
But yeah, Game Time Volume 2, didn't go the direction I wanted to, but I'm satisfied with how it turned out at the end, to be honest.
Right. And what was the story behind? What inspired you to drop at that point in time? Obviously, you had a lot to say. What was the things that led up to you making that album?
So, Game Time Volume 2, it kind of ties in to the first volume. So basically, I was very impatient on Volume 1 when I wanted to release it out. So I ended up scrapping I want to say 4 tracks off of that, and I decided to just leave it with the 5 tracks that are already done. And so I ended up putting Volume 1 out. So now I got a couple tracks on my notes and everything, and I don't have anywhere or anything. I don't have any ideas to go with it with those tracks because they relate to the situation. So I'm just all all right, I'll just like leave these here for a little. But then again, I'm just like, I did put volume 1 on there, which means I am not finished saying fuck you. So
right.
basically, I took those couple tracks that I scrapped, and then I kind of like, made a whole volume 2 to it. Volume 2 was supposed to be 10 tracks. So the fact that it went from 10 to 21 just kind of like basically said, it just basically tells you I kind of went overboard with like the music
right.
making, because when I thought I was done, I heard another beat and I started writing. When I thought I was done with that, I heard another beat, started writing. And it was kind of like a back and forth, basically. And then it went from like, basically meaning, it went from fuck you to fuck all of y'all,
right.
basically. So it's not, directed, I mean, I targeted some, I'm not gonna lie, I talk some shit on the album.
Right.
I targeted people on that.
Right.
But, that just goes without saying though. I basically, I had no mute button on that album. That album went from fuck you to being, oh, okay, since I'm gonna say fuck you, I'm gonna decide to like, let me tell everybody how I feel about each individual fucking person and everything like that. And that kind of made me write DOA, which is technically track number 2, but because I have my Rupert skits, it's track number 3. Okay. So DOA is basically my diss track to the world in a way. Well, to the world, in terms of like my last part in that song.
Right.
But I do mention a couple of people on there and everything that I felt like needed that little spotlight for me to say like, all right, fuck you,
right.
basically. But other than that, all the other tracks is just a mashup of I love you, fuck you guys, and everything like that. It's just a lot of my songs are a lot of like, fuck yous.
Right.
I have a lot of fuck you music.
Right.
Harold needs to tell me to calm down on that, but I'm working on it.
Right. So with this album, you was mentioning that you was doing a lot of skits. What inspired you to put skits on this particular project?
So, Family Guy, actually. I'm a big Family Guy fan, which is why I make a lot of dumb decisions. But there's a character in there, actually Stewie's teddy bear. His name is Rupert. I decided to make my own version of Rupert in the skits. So there's 3 skits. There's the intro, there's the outro, and then you got that one skit in the middle. Basically, Rupert, I didn't make him based off of, the teddy bear. I stole the name.
Right.
Because, I don't know, that seems like an asshole type of name. So,
right.
took that name and I kind of like, put essence of like Beavis and Butthead, Chris Griffin, and, just all these little asshole kids into one dickhead, basically. So, Rupert is, he's a little asshole. But he's basically, he likes to be on his own and everything. He likes to think a lot of crazy thoughts and everything. He likes to beat up kids and all that. He likes to talk shit and everything. But Rupert is also a big fan of ASAP. So I guess you can add a little bit of like, Stan and Eminem into it, everything like that. But in more of like a comedic way, I guess. But yeah, his biggest role model is ASAP. So going off of the fact that, I talk a lot of this crazy shit in my music, he takes it in the negative way instead of the positive. So he just likes to do a lot of stupid shit and everything.
Right.
Yeah, in the album, he's basically, in his room, listening to music and everything. He finds my album, Game Time Volume 2, just when he gets done to listening Volume 1. And he's like, okay, let me listen to this. Breaks out, basically does an all-nighter and everything. you know, comes back, listens to me again. Now he's like taking my words into like, reality. All right. He says this, I'm gonna do this, basically. So
Right.
that's why my outro was probably the funniest with Rupert, because he's at a park and he's looking at this kid's mom, and basically the kid kind of like catches him and everything, and he doesn't give a fuck. He's like, yeah, no, I like your mom, all right, and everything. And then
Right.
kid gets his friends, they want to beat him up, teach him a lesson and everything like that. Rupert's like, oh, okay, well then let's do it. Fucks up the kid and everything, and then he's cursing around these kids, and they're all like, oh, and everything. He ends up beating another kid. He tells a parent to go kiss his ass and everything because they're telling him to stop. Rupert's one of my. He's actually a good character for me.
Right.
He's a little asshole, but I like that character. Plus, he's gonna be on more projects. I'm just trying to figure out after that last outro. I'm trying to figure out where he's gonna be on the next album. So I'm just slowly just trying to find out what he's doing and everything.
So with that being said, you're currently working on an album,
Yes, I got a couple of albums that I'm currently working on.
and the singles that you just released, you released 3 of them.
Yes.
I believe the names of them singles are Without You,
Yep.
Fall, and Expectations. Are these all singles that's going to be on your next project?
Most likely, yes.
Okay.
Basically, so that Just a Dream album that I got on SoundCloud, those tracks are on there, but I kind of like rebooted them in a way. Since that's not technically like, my official project, it's like one of those little projects like to get out there and everything. For me, my official project goes to like, all platforms and everything like that. So I took a couple of tracks out of that and basically kind of rebooted the Just a Dream album. So I still got a couple more, but those 3 specifically were actually my favorites from that album. So I felt the need to try to like, listen to it in a professional sound
Right.
and everything. And they came out perfect. Without Me is currently my favorite song
I can see that.
out right now.
And so I want to get a little bit into the Lords. How that came to be,
Hey, Lords.
how you ended up in it. Because when I first met you, y'all were ITM in the making, and now y'all have something else. Y'all have a few more members. I don't know if they was around back then as well, but you got Chosen now, and you got Puma. I believe it's you and it's Quick.
Yes.
If there's anybody else, please let me know. But how did that come together? And can you describe like the chemistry you have working with them?
So the ITMs, I haven't heard that name in a minute. It's
Right.
been a while. We used to be, it was me, Harold, and this other guy, Rodney. And he basically created the ITM team and everything like that. They put me onto it. I was like, all right, bet. This was like right after I met Harold. So I was just like, okay, I'm down with it. Shit, team, let's do it. And so, we was doing our thing for a little bit. We actually put Rodney on stage for his first time. For after that first Master in the Grass, there was a Halloween show at the same venue, and we actually put him on to doing his first performance on that show. So we did our thing and everything, and then one thing led to another. Me and Eric were both promoting the team and everything, and trying to get the team out there and stuff like that. And I guess one person thinks another thing, everything goes left. He didn't think that we belonged in the team. After that, I said fuck it, all right, that's I'm not gonna fight with you with it. That's your team, you created it, you're good. I'll just walk away, just do my thing. I say this to everybody anytime an altercation or a situation happens where I'm here for music. I just want to do music, that's it. Whatever is going on, we will work through it. If it doesn't work, then fuck it. I mean, it is what it is. So yeah, we ended up leaving ITM after that, and I remember me and Harold had a conversation one day, and we're over here like, yo, it's just us. I mean, yeah, all right, bet, you know, quick and ASAP. So, mind you, me and him, we're like, you know, the type of music we make is kind of similar. But on the other hand, it's like one of those duos where you got like, you know, the positive mixing with the negative and everything, like those type of characters and everything. It just, for some reason, it fits. It fits. When we get music going, when we write and everything, we meet up, or I show up to his crib, write, dish out a song, that's it, we're done. It just, how do I say it? It just flows perfectly, basically. So, we had a conversation one day, and we're trying to figure out, like, all right, let's just make a team with just me and you, just do our thing and everything. And we're over here trying to come up with names, and then I forget how the Lord's name came up, but I remember looking up like acronyms and stuff, because like I wanted a name, but I didn't want just a plain ass name. I wanted that shit to like, you know, mean something, but also have like subliminal meanings to it and everything, just like all of the above.
Right.
And so I'm over here and I'm like, you know, writing down meanings and stuff like that. And I remember calling Harold right after this. I wrote a sentence, like basically like it has to have this meaning basically. Wrote a sentence down. I looked at the acronyms for it. I looked at the first letter of each word, and surprisingly, it was LORDS, and I was just like, okay, that actually sounds nice. Bet. Wasn't too crazy about like, you know, the word Lords, because, you know, at the same time I didn't want it to be related to like, you know, the religion stuff of it or anything like that, but it's also nice because it has its own unique meaning to it. So when I wrote it down, it was, all right, lighting our reality destroys the suffering. I'm just like, that makes sense. So I'm just like, all right, bet. So I just put that shit in the acronyms. I hit up Harold, I was like, yo, I got a name. And he's like, hit me. I'm like, Lords, lighting our reality destroys. He's like, I love it. I was like, all right, bet.
Right.
Next thing you know, we're doing our thing, and then, you know, after that, I ended up meeting Angel, who was on there for a while and everything. He ended up doing music with us, and then I met Puma, and then after that, we all ended up meeting Chosen after that. I think he wanted a session and came through. Don't remember the details, but we just basically like, all of us clicked. We just started like, you know, working after that.
Right.
And then it's basically me, Chosen, Puma, and Quick. And we just have, each person has their own individual sound to it. I know Harold always, how do I say this? Brings up Wu-Tang. He's like, look, you remind me of this person, you remind me of that person, you remind me of this person. And I'm just like, all right, but that's like the most descriptive it's gonna get and everything.
So you were saying, as far as the group, you were talking about how you met Chosen and Puma and everything, how it came together.
Yeah, everything, everybody has their own specific sound to their music, which kind of fits really well because you can learn from each other in terms of like, you know, he's got this song that sounds like, or he got a dancehall beat, he got like a hip hop beat, and he got like, you know, reggaeton or something like that. We can each hit a whole different like level of sound into what we're doing and everything. Makes it sound better. Actually, I know I actually have features with all of them. So it's like we all have songs that sound so different from one another, but at the same time it just sounds nice at the same time. Like we know how to fit it in basically.
Right. And what are some upcoming shows that you have that we should be on the lookout for?
So the first one, I know we have one, I want to say in April, and then we got one in June, and then we actually got one in The Mask in the Grass one, actually. That's a big one for me. A lot of people show up to that. It's like a mini Coachella, basically.
Don't mean to cut you off. Did you mention the one that's supposed to be this weekend? I think I seen that you performing at Manny Moss show or something like that.
Oh no, I'm actually not performing now.
Oh, okay.
No, but Harold is performing that one, and Puma. They're both performing on that one.
Okay.
So I'm gonna definitely need to show out, show some love and everything.
Right.
I didn't even know. I know he fucking I think he hit us up saying that he was gonna perform and everything. I forget if he did or not. I'm pretty sure he did.
At the last show, yeah, he did.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, bet. I ended up saying, fuck it. I'll just like, you know, show up and show some love this time. At this point, I'm like, you know, multitasking a bunch of stuff right now. So it's like the show right now, this moment, I'll take the L for that one. But other shows though, I'm definitely doing it because I do need that. Especially Mask in the Grass. I've done Mask in the Grass 2023, I believe, which was by far, that was a good ass performance and everything. And I know 2025, me, Harold, Puma, Chosen, we all got the inside stage, and we got a whole lot of time to like work with and everything like that. So we're gonna make the best of it and everything. And then we have another House of Melodies, I believe. So, which will be our third one. Actually, I mean, the first two ended up being nice as shit. So I was like,
Word. So do y'all like? Well, let me ask you, because I'll ask them at a separate time. Do you see the impact and like feel the impact that you're having out here with what you're doing in the music?
I believe so, yeah. I know at the same time, not a lot of people like, you know, it's 50-50. Not a lot of people like my music, but then again, you got some people that like my music.
Right.
At the end of the day, you know, if my words or if my lyrics can basically get a reaction out of you, then I know that I'm doing something, if that makes sense.
Definitely. So, I do want to talk to you about this new thing that you starting on, some ASAP's Discord.
Yes.
Can you just tell us a little bit about it and what to expect?
So, basically, I actually got into, it was the day before I actually made the Discord. I was in, what would you call it, a versus battle. Buck Sinatra and the Mean Cash and everything. Shout out to them both.
Shout out to
them. They did this Discord challenge, basically. You know, a whole bunch of artists hop on and everything like that. Get some of your best tracks out. Get like a whole contest going and like a tournament, basically. It was nice as shit. Played a song. You know, judges were there. They kept it a bean also. So I'm just like, bet. And I was on there and I was just like, yeah, dude, you know, this is like a nice way for me to like, you know, how do I say this? Give like updates on my music and everything. Plus I've always wanted to do that. I just didn't think that I was gonna do it with Discord. So I know I ended up creating a Discord, nothing too fancy, ASAP server and everything like that. But basically, you know, you get announcements on new releases. We do live video sessions and everything like that. Maybe behind the scene footage that I'll be working on and everything. And just new music and basically anything new that's going on the music side of me or anything that benefits that part will go on to the Discord. Plus I'll be like, you know, posting unreleased music on there to see what kind of feedback I get to help me like, you know, better improve on my future songs and everything.
That's dope, man. I think every artist should kind of always try to find like a lane outside of the music, you feel me? Because it only helps, you know, when you start doing something else, you can incorporate your music in it. Or, you know, you can bring them fans that you gain from something else over to your music. So I think that's dope.
Yeah, no,
and I'm looking for
Mean Cash, he's been helping me so far. He's been like, you know, giving me advice here and there.
Right.
On try to, because he has his own, like, you know, interviews and stuff like that.
Definitely.
And like, you know, ways of distribution, basically. And I'm just like, I need to do that. And, you know, I hit him up. He's helps me out with, like, you know, all that stuff. And I'm just like, I bet.
Cool. So anything that you want to leave the viewers with? You know, some motivational words or anything?
Learn how to say fuck it. You could be tight every day, but the moment you wake up in the morning and you just say fuck it, it is what it is. The amount of relief that'll come off of those shoulders is gonna be ecstatic. I'm talking. Just say fuck it.
Right.
And fuck you. That's it.
Right, man. So we're gonna wrap it up. This is not gonna be the last time that we have ASAP up here for sure, man. Looking forward to chopping up with you when this new album ready to come out. But I do appreciate you coming onto the platform.
Yes, sir.
This guy's a dope artist, got real dope music. Regardless if he think it's 50-50, he got some good music, man. He's definitely making waves out here. And I appreciate you for coming on the platform, man. And we signing out. That's all it is.
Bet.
Right.
So, before I leave, my fiance, she goes by Loco. Everybody calls her Loco because she's fucking crazy. Anyway, she got her own photography going on and everything like that. She got a camera and stuff like that. So any of you guys need photo shoots and everything, don't have to be, too serious. It can be family photos and wedding photos and stuff like that. Hit her up. Her Instagram is official Loco photography, I think. I'm gonna check it just in case. Here, let's see real quick. Loco M's photos. For now, it will change, but follow her before I change that fucking name. Anyway, but yeah, hit me up or hit her up. Get your photos done. We'll go create an empire. You heard? ASAP.